Yeah, I cannot see it very well, but I hope you can see them. So I'm Alice Lunardon. I was here before to the panel before. So I'm an architect. I work for a company called the Bubble Smart Cities, and have developed this project, which is called Sustainable City Promoter, about railway stations like 4 years ago, 5 years ago. And then it got funded by the European Commission. Let's say, I will not explain all the details, but of course through a public call. And I'm working now on this project with 14 partners. So I will introduce the project a little bit, and then the European project that came up from this one. So the Sustainable City Promoter is a new concept for stations, railway stations. And the idea is that, my opinion is that sustainability for me is optimization of the assets that we have already and not just technology, right? So the technology should help, but the key word is optimization of what we already have. And that's why railway stations for me are very important, because they are assets in the city and they are not exploited 100%. I would say 1%. They are like the only existing factories in the city since the Industrial Revolution. And they gather a lot of material, people, energy, water, and every resources we have. And what it end up, it's not fully used. If you think about, the last picture is like funny one, but we should take advantage of all this potential that is unexploited. So that's why I developed this idea that puts stations in the center of the city and the urban planning. I was advocating this through the European institutions in 2019. And the rationale behind it is that the stations are not treated neither in the urban agenda, either in the transport agenda. There is this gap, so that's why then the European Commission created this call, an Horizon Europe, and then we have applied and we got it, like 4 years later, because in the meantime, the COVID stopped everything. So for me, the station, it's a new element for the city, and it has to gather all the mobility solutions, so green mobility, sharing mobility, not only the train and the public transport, in order that people can be able to commute easily, but also being a hub of services, proximity services, like the concept of 15-minute cities now. And also they have a lot of potential in their infrastructure, because there is a lot of energy that go through the station and the whole infrastructure. If we think about the trains, the energy from the brakes that we can potentially take, and there are studies now that are done. All the water that can be used, reused, recycled, the materials, the waste, and the logistics. So that's why I call this a circular infrastructure. Utopic idea is like even to produce locally and consume locally, not only energy, but also food or other kind of things. Here you just have one example for food chain, and use it in the restaurants, and then the waste, produce energy with the wastes, and then the same for energy, produced locally from the train, but also from renewable resources, and then fuel not only the building of the station, but also the urban mobility devices that are available at the station. And these two things are one of the topic of one of the living labs we are working on, in this case, the Italian Living Lab. So we are studying how the station can become a hub of circular economy. So that's the, let's say, an infographic I did in 2019, just to explain what's the business model now of the stations, so the first one, and the second, how I imagine the station with all these funding and co-funding options, and also the optimization of the energy consumption, so can make the earn money that they can invest in other things. So impact, let's say, I call this impact. Like today we have people with a car, they go around the city and where they need. But the idea I want to go for is like everything around the station, so people can find everything they need when they commute every day. As I said before, it became the EU-funded project under Horizon Europe, and the name is now RAIL4CITIES. Just a little bit of information about the project. So there are 3 universities, 14 partners in the total, 6 railway companies, of which the French one, SNCF, the Italian one, FSC. As associated partner, we have the Portuguese, we have Germany, Belgium, and Poland. And we're working with the cities, of course, to universities, to consultancies, and we have also supporters, of course. The objectives of the call is to develop a methodology and a model. A model for the station, for the sustainable city promoter, and a methodology to apply this in all stations in Europe, ideally. We have 5 living labs with 5 different topics. So each pillar of the model that I said before in the previous slides is studied in one of the living labs. So in Italy, with the Milano Rogoredo station, we are studying the station as an energy and circular economy hub, which is about producing and consuming locally. In France, we're studying how the uptake of the bikes can be really embedded to the station and the public transport. So everything around bikes, because the city of Toulouse, where the Living Lab is located, is very interested in adopting the use of bike for everyone. And here, the objective is to take the people that are now using the car, to take them on bikes and commute through bikes and train. In Belgium, we are studying how the station surroundings can live 24 hours. It's a project in Ottigny. It's a small town in Belgium, in the French, let's say, French part. And this is a big deal, let's say, because, of course, the problem between the public and private stakeholders and the real estate stakeholders is not easy. In Poland, we have a very small city that, of course, I will not pronounce well. Tomaszów Mazowiecki is the name. And it's a very touristic place in the natural landscape with a lot of natural resources. And we are studying how to connect this nature with the station, meaning how the station can be a promoter also for this sustainable tourism, and how nature-based solutions can make this space more socially inclusive. And then we have another living lab in Germany about TOD, transit-oriented development, in a city called Dorfen, and 3 case studies in Portugal for resilience of the infrastructure. So I just want to talk about a little bit a focus on the living labs. Why it's important? Because the methodology that I have developed is based on human-centered design, which means, we were discussing before about this, which means how to make these spaces become places in a way that people can really own them and make the activities they want. So then they can be pleasant spaces like the airports, or hope more, and not just spaces where people want to just live fastly, right? So in the living labs, we will do placemaking activities for engaging communities and neighbors and NGOs, and especially local communities, to take ownership of these spaces and see what will happen, especially around the station, which is this fracture between the train infrastructure and the city infrastructure. Yeah, so that's the thing that's involving users and citizens in order to make these spaces more interesting beyond their transport function. So make them part of the city. Yeah, that's the step of the methodology. Basically, we were doing a workshop with stakeholders at the international level and also at the local level, of course. Then we try to understand what is missing in the desire of people, if we can call this like this, and understanding the needs they have in their commuting, but also the needs that are not served. Let's say, what would you need to give up your car and use the train and the station and every space around the station? And then, thanks to this, then we will do the placemaking activities. And then with this, we will craft a value proposition and also a business model. Of course, very high level because the budget is very little of the whole project, but this is the idea. Just to focus on the two examples, the Italian Living Lab. So what we are doing is this energy and circular economy hub. So we will study which kind of energies can be, renewable energies can be really effectively implemented in the station and their surroundings. And of course, there are a lot of boundaries with governance and policies, right? And it's not easy, but the idea is to find a model where then all the stations can apply to use this energy from the trains, for example, from the solar panels or other sources of energies, and so produce locally and use locally, both for the building and for the urban mobility devices. And also we will study how to reuse, recycle the waste, because this is a big challenge as well. And we'll do this not only inside the station, but also with all the restaurants and offices around. So let's see what will be the final product. And yeah, another example for the Polish Living Lab, for example, we are studying these nature-based solutions. So this is a very big challenge because it's a very small city, but the idea, the research questions are about how this can promote social inclusivity. So if you want to follow up on our projects, you are welcome in our discussion. It's open to everyone. So we organize regular meeting with called advisory board, so everyone can join. And in 6 months, we will have some final result. Thank you.